All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So it's a good day. You know, like when people actually give you some ammunition to do a real video, which I got from Ali Abdelaziz, one of my favorite people, and Conor McGregor, one of my favorite people, and Khamzat Chimaev, quickly becoming one of my favorite people. So these guys gave me some firepower for this video, and I'm very excited to do it. So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Now, if you like this content, I would encourage you to go over to Jesse on Everything, because I just did an inadvertent video where my dude called me and I had the camera on and we started talking about that Tennessee bombing. And I think we got some pretty fire content. You got to actually hear me just talking to one of my people about what I think happened in Nashville. And I watched it back. I was like, oh, this is really good. This is better than normal. I think I should probably do should normally have people on as opposed to me just yapping into a camera, because this is a much better content. Anyway, so go check that out. But let's talk about this, all right? So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Do all those things. So Ali Abdelaziz and Conor McGregor got into it on Twitter, and there's a lot of meat on this bone, man. So first, let's just lay this out. So what started it was Conor is obviously, he's vying for the rematch with Khabib, which, by the way, I think is hilarious that he's basically just being like, yeah, of course I'm going to beat Dustin, because he is going to beat Dustin. But just the confidence that it takes, normally, here's the thing. Normally, a person who's talking about the next fight, if they're going to fight a top 4 guy in any division, you should bet against that guy, right? It's like, oh, he's looking past that guy. Like, is he out of his mind? And I actually talked about that with, my concerns about Khabib when it came to Justin Gaethje, but Khabib is not human. Again, I've said it, I think he's the most dominant fighter in history. But, I did have concerns that maybe he's looking past Justin Gaethje. Obviously was not the case. But again, so with Conor talking about the rematch, he's fighting Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is I think he's ranked 2 or 3 in the division. So assuming you're going to beat him is crazy, unless you're Conor, right? Okay, Conor is the exception to the rule, because he is going to walk through him. Everyone who is in the know says this is by far the best Conor that there's ever been, and they're like, dude, they're just. Every one of them is like, listen, man, I honestly, Dustin Poirier is a good dude. I feel bad for him. You have no idea what he's in for. And I believe them. I just believe him. So Conor's going to walk through Dustin Poirier, right? But anyway, so he's angling for this Khabib rematch. And he said something like, between me, Dana, and Ali, I would bet on us. Something like that. He said that it was between him, Dana, and Ali Abdelaziz that Khabib's going to end up giving in and doing the rematch. That's what he said, right? And I agree with him, first of all. I agree with that. But also, so Ali Abdelaziz took offense to him being put on the same team as Conor versus Khabib. This is why I like Ali Abdelaziz so much, okay? Conor is trying to align with these guys. He knows the adversarial thing is not going to work with these guys. And I've talked about this on the channel. How many times have I talked about this, right? He's not going to be able to bait Khabib in with being an adversary. That's not going to work. It's not, and he is a tactician. He knows that. He knows it's not going to work. And so he has to switch up strategies. So he switched his strategy to, hey, between me, Ali, and Dana, come on, man. Come on, Khabib, you're going to fight, right? It's subtle, but it is very, very tactical, okay? The guy doesn't do anything by accident, okay? That's a tactical decision to put himself on the team of Ali Abdelaziz, okay? He's aligning with Ali Abdelaziz. This is the little nuanced stuff that people like me look at, that's exactly what I would have done if I was Conor, okay? That's exactly what I would have done. Okay, I know he's not going to respond if I go, fuck you, Khabib. That's not going to work. So now I'm going to align with his people, because he basically has to do me a favor to take this fight, right? Aside from the fact that he's going to get paid a fucking fortune, and he gets to, for all intents and purposes, they're going to pay Khabib, an enormous amount of money to beat up a guy that he's already beat up, that he doesn't like. It's not a bad deal, right? But anyway, so Ali Abdelaziz, who I also very much like, he knew exactly what Conor's doing too, right? Okay, just like I recognized it, Ali Abdelaziz recognized it. And so Ali's he's don't put me on your fucking team against Khabib, right? That's what I'm saying. That's why I knew I liked this guy so much, okay? So he recognizes Conor's trying to say oh, me and Ali are on the same team against Khabib to get him to fight. And even if the outcome is something that Ali wants, Ali immediately goes on Twitter and goes, you'll never be champ again, because I have an army waiting for you at 155 and 170. Hang on, actually, first, he did a picture of, look at this. Conor, age 9, Khabib, age 9. Conor with a teddy bear, Khabib with a bear. And then I tap out. And then he's like, you will never be champ again because I have an army waiting for you at 155 and 170. And then he tagged Justin Gaethje, Kamaru Usman, Gilbert. It's Gilbert Burns. Khamzat Chimaev, Islam Makhachev, Vincent Luque. I don't know, in Team Khabib. Anyway, I mean, bottom line is, that's what I wanted to talk about here, okay? So I want to talk about all of these guys that he just mentioned, right? So he says, you'll never be champ again because I have an army waiting for you, okay? So first of all, let's talk about 155, because that's the meaningful one, okay? Who'd you put in there? Justin Gaethje. That's it, right? Okay, so Conor's never going to be champ again if Khabib doesn't fight, because the point he's making is like, oh, even if Khabib doesn't come back, you're still never going to be champion because I've got this stable of people that'll whip your ass. Here's the thing that I also noticed, dude. Ali Abdelaziz has the welterweight division just locked up, dude. He has so many guys at 170. But at 155, he's got Justin Gaethje. That's it. So you're saying, oh yeah, hey, look at this stable of guys. You'll never be champion again because you'll have to beat Justin. Now, Justin Gaethje's a monster. But if you think that Conor can't beat Justin Gaethje, you're out of your mind, okay? Like, I'm not saying it's a stone lock, but I would bet on Conor. I mean, like, without even a hesitation. There would be no hesitation. I was like, hey, you have to bet on Conor versus Justin Gaethje. I'd bet on Conor instantaneously. I wouldn't even think about it, okay? So that's all he's got, right? At 155, that's all he's got. Oh, I guess, okay, he's got Islam Makhachev, but come on, okay? Just because Islam Makhachev has trained with Khabib, he's not fucking Khabib, okay? And if you guys can't see that by watching his fights, Islam Makhachev is not going to be the next Khabib, all right? I will tell you that right now, okay? Khabib is Khabib. Okay, there's not going to be another one. And just because Islam Makhachev trains with him, if you think that the only thing that goes into being as dominant as Khabib is like training in the same gym, you're out of your fucking mind. The guy has Khabib's mind is like I don't even know how to even explain it. Like it's why he's a one of a kind, right? Like you're not just because someone sat next to him in class for the last 20 years, you're not going to create another Khabib. It's like the Jay-Z song where he's like, I heard people saying they made Hove. Oh yeah? Well then make another Hove, right? Same exact thing, dude. It's like, oh, okay, so if there's nothing special about Khabib, just go ahead, create another one. And that is what they're saying Islam Makhachev is, but he's not that. He's just not that. So anyway, but at 170, that's a whole different ballgame, okay? Like, he's got Kamaru Usman, crushes Conor, in my opinion. I mean, most likely. I mean, and then you got Khamzat Chimaev, who hates, and that's the back half of this video, is Khamzat Chimaev, okay? So let's just assume that Conor's going to have a tough time at 170 because there's a lot of guys that are all very, very big. And while I will never, ever say that Conor's a walkthrough for anyone, stylistically, there are a lot of guys at the top that are exceptional wrestlers, and they're very big, okay? So that being said, smaller guys going up a weight class tend to have tremendous success because they're faster, okay? And I don't care who you are. If Conor hits you in the face, you're going night-night, motherfucker, in the first round at least. But again, I think he's got a tough time at 170. But let's talk about Khamzat Chimaev, okay? Because Khamzat Chimaev then commented, oh wait, hang on, I'm sorry. One other thing Ali Abdelaziz said. He said, you said to Khabib in the cage, it was only business. Get an IV and sober up because we know you are drunk or high. Okay, Conor didn't say it's only business. We've talked about this a million times. He didn't actually say that, but this is kind of weird. Saying that Conor was drunk, or maybe Conor was drunk or high, but that's not a good thing because he's going to be sober next time, right? Like, you should hope that he wasn't drunk or high the first time because that's something he can change and then be tremendously better in the cage. Anyway, all right, so Khamzat Chimaev comments, don't worry, big brother, I'm going to smash this chicken for you. Okay, I love that. Okay, if we get to just replace, let's say Khabib's done, man. Let's say Khabib's done. If you get to just go, Khabib's out, insert next superstar Muslim fighter who has a legitimate beef and wants to hurt Conor, I'm in. I'm fucking in. I'm in for that, dude. I am in for that. I love this, dude. I love the culture clash angle, dude. Like, I love it. Conor is, we talked about this a million times. No matter what you think of, like, I think Conor is a good man underneath it. I really do. I think he's an impulsive maniac that I can relate to. Okay, you put me in those situations, I'm gonna make a lot of bad decisions as well. Okay, listen, like, I'm trying to think if I've ever punched somebody in the face just for running their mouth. Actually, that's a silly thing to say. I've done that a lot of times. I was thinking about the old man that's sitting at the bar. I was just like, yeah, I've never punched a guy who was an unworthy adversary. Everybody I've punched at least should have been able to, like there's no one that's like, you're picking on someone that's too small. Like those people got open hand slaps, okay? But nonetheless, I just can relate to bad decisions Conor's made without having to say, like, I'm a good man. I can make bad decisions. I'm a good man underneath it. Conor is the same, okay? But I love the angle of he's this Western, evil, fucking greedy, flashy asshole versus the principled, this is how we live for family. We're not flashy, whatever, like Muslim culture. I love it, dude. I fucking love it. I love it. And if you don't love it, then why do you watch this sport? Like this sport is about conflict resolution. That's what this sport is. It is conflict resolution, right? And so what's a pretty major part of that equation? Conflict. Okay, you're not if it's just two guys that are like, hey guy, like how often are you like really stoked for a fight when two guys are like, hello man? It's like, hey, love you dude, good luck in there. It's like, if they're two great fighters, of course you want to see what's gonna happen. But how much more excited are you for Masvidal Askren, Nate Diaz Conor, Khabib Conor, right? True conflict. These guys hate each other. Let's see what's gonna happen. Conflict resolution. And you resolve it in a way that's irreversible, unerasable, right? You locked yourselves in a fucking cage and you fought until one of you guys was unconscious or tapped out and quit, okay? You can never undo that. That's why until Conor and Khabib fight again, that's why Conor has to beg Khabib for a rematch, because Conor quit, right? Khabib beat him until he quit, man. Think about that. Like, I'm not talking about like, you like seeing people get punched in the face, right? When you get knocked out, that is an inadvertent loss, okay? Like you got hit and you went to sleep, right? When you tap out, you are having to, as a man, say, I can't take anymore. Like he's beat, you have to take an action that says, I can't do this anymore, I quit. Think about that. Think about that. And I understand I think about this sport differently than a lot of people. But that should be pretty simple for you to think about, okay? A man, I quit. This guy's better than me. He's beaten me. I can't take anymore. I quit. I can't take any more of this. Psychologically, think about that, okay? Khabib fucking owns Conor. He owns him, unless they fight again. That's why Khabib might just not fight him again. He might just not fight him again. Depends on what he wants from Dana, I will say I am a little bit less confident that this fight's going to happen, just based on Ali Abdelaziz saying it's decision time Khabib, right? Which means it's not already banked, because I thought this was already decided on, because he bought Eagle MMA. He knew Dana was going to want something from him. I assumed Dana would play hardball and try to get him to fight, but I think Dana actually has more respect for Khabib, that like he wouldn't necessarily make him fight. I'm still confident the fight's going to happen, but I would have said I was 98% sure then. I'm going to say I'm like 85% sure now. So anyway, if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Peace.